right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Greens for the Garza, powered by the New Jersey Lottery. I'm your host, Mike Ham. We're here in Clifton, New Jersey today at the legendary Rutt's Hut with Billy Christofinas. Billy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So this is pretty cool. We've never done just like a stand-up at the counter kind of episode before. So this is like a little bit different than what we normally do, but I'm excited because I just had a couple.
Sit down if you want.
Oh, no. Well, now we're in, and I always see you here, and you're always standing. I don't even know if your legs actually know how to sit down.
Not really. When I leave.
Yeah, when you leave, right.
When I get in the car.
Just kind of like a flap.
That's it.
But, okay, so let's for people, if somehow people are unaware of what Rutt's Hut is, what you're all about, if you can describe it kind of in like a 30,000-foot view, what is Rutt's Hut?
Rutt's Hut is it's a restaurant that it's known primarily for its deep-fried hot dogs. But essentially, we're a full restaurant. We serve anything from roast duck to the famous hot dog.
Yeah.
But the name Rutt's Hut is synonymous to hot dogs. That's where most people know us for.
Sure.
But, we're more than just hot dogs.
Yeah, world famous, best hot dog in America. At least,
Correct.
My opinion.
I let the customer decide that.
Right, yeah.
I try not to,
Yeah. So I know you weren't there. We were talking about this off mic, but we were really appreciative of Rutt's doing basically like their first ever pop-up at Jersey Fest. Now, when this episode comes out, it would be probably like a month ago. But that was really cool. And, I see you guys doing a lot of stuff kind of pushing,
We're trying to get there. We're trying to, move.
Thinking outside the box a little bit. Out of the box of the walls.
We're getting there slowly.
Yeah. So, okay. Rutt's Hut has been around since
1928.
When? 1928.
Yep.
And your family bought it in 1974? Correct.
My father and uncles bought it from Abe Rutt, which was the original owner of where Rutt's Hut comes from.
Right.
In 74.
Yeah. And what was the background there? Like, was just,
Our family's background?
Sure. Like, in a sense of like, you have like this place at the time, when your family buys it in 74, it's been a business for almost 50 years at that point, like 40, quick math,
pretty much
44 years or whatever that is. Was your family like in the food service industry?
So,
what was the?
Let me tell you the simplest way that I can tell you.
Yeah.
Our fathers are immigrants to the country.
Right.
So essentially myself and my cousins here, my sister, we're first generation Americans. So in those days, most foreigners came to this country. They started out as, the easiest thing that you could do, or the simplest thing that you could do was be a dishwasher, per se, right?
Right.
So that's how initially they got into the food business. They started out as dishwashers, became shore cooks, and they slowly progressed.
Yeah.
So they were in the food business before this, but as not as owners per se.
Right.
They were workers. So my dad and uncles, most of them started out as dishwashers, became shore cooks.
Yeah.
And at some point, they saved enough money, they pulled their money together, and they were afforded an opportunity to buy a business.
Yeah. They weren't working here, were they?
No. They were working in the places, in Jersey City. That's where we were from.
Yep.
My dad was the only one that had his own business at one point in time.
Right.
He had a little luncheonette on Grove Street in Jersey City.
Yep.
The rest were just, short cooks at that time or whatever the case may have been. And, in those days, most of the Greeks where we're from were all in the diner businesses.
Sure.
So a lot of the diners in this area were all relatives of ours.
Right.
So, when they said, oh, you guys are buying a hot dog hamburger spot, you're looked at like, come on,
a little sideways.
Yeah, not 100% sideways. It wasn't. It was like, come on.
Yeah.
Diners are the best things you could be in. So hindsight's 2020. Most of these diners are gone by the wayside.
Sure.
And Rutt's Hut's still here, right?
Yeah. I mean, an institution, really.
Correct.
Can we talk a little bit about? I'm curious, and maybe you know this, and if you don't, that's okay. When you said your father and his cousins?
My uncles.
Your uncles.
So there's four partners involved in the establishment.
Okay, got it.
So when my dad and Calliope's dad, they were the first ones to come here and kind of scout, a broker that sold, real estate guy brought them there.
Right.
And, they're the first ones. They came, checked out the place. They liked what they saw at that time.
Yeah.
So then, they decided to go ahead with that. But they had to physically work here.
Right.
And the original owner had to teach them
how to do
Rutt's
it.
Hut way, essentially.
Yeah. As I was curious, like, the change, like the business has been going for so long at that point.
Essentially,
and then just kind of keeping the status quo almost.
They were owners here and they were working here essentially.
That's really interesting.
While they sold it, the original was still here.
Yeah.
And you had to learn it.
Right.
We still operate the same way.
Yeah.
99% of it is the same way. The only additional thing would be that we now put a chili dog on, whatever.
Yeah.
But
right. Which I just had, which was phenomenal.
Operationally, it's still the same.
Yeah. Right.
So from an operation standpoint, when they talk about fast food establishments, if they ever write a book on it, Rutt should be in that book.
It really should.
Because the way this place operates is the same way. 96 years, man. It's pretty impressive.
It really is impressive. And just kind of like how...
You've been here during lunch to see like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we come here, like I'll come here during lunch.
So you see how efficient it is,
Of course, yeah. And a lot of times we'll be, sitting at the bar,
Sure.
like have a beer, and then it's like, I'll have a dog and a beer, and it's there. It's
so
impressive.
people are very, people that sit at the bar for the first time are just like, they do the head spin, like, how the hell
like
did
I
you
literally
get
just I didn't get dog out of my mouth, and then boom, I got a hot dog.
I think for me, the most impressive thing of the establishment is the efficiency of it.
Yeah.
And I find it I've been in the food business my whole life.
Yeah.
I've had my own places, and, there's no more efficient than this.
No.
So my favorite thing is like when somebody comes in, the McDonald's manager comes in with his little collared shirt.
Yeah.
I let him have it. I'm like, you guys have it sitting on the shelf, and you don't get it this fast.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to the way that the original owner set this place up.
Of course.
It's mind-boggling, really.
Yeah. No, it really is. And like I said before, for something like 90 whatever years.
We're in our 96
years, which is coming up on 100, which
2028
is also crazy.
Yep.
That system still works,
it works.
It's part of, to me, it's part of the experience too, because you could always, there's plenty of places that are institutions in New Jersey, because the show is all about New Jersey, that's all we care about, that, they're legendary in their own way.
Of course.
And they all have different parts of their experience, but that...
Every place has its own unique thing.
Exactly. But obviously like the food here is a unique thing, but then also kind of the speed and the experience and, the
way we call it out.
Exactly.
It's part of the whole, it makes up the whole aspect of the establishment.
Yeah.
So, when people come here, you've come here, so you understand that.
Right.
So if you would have been here 3 hours earlier, 4 customers in here, and then all of a sudden I look out the door and I see 30 kids walking down. I'm like, oh, the bus just pulled
Here we go.
Wayne Valley High School, every year they come.
Yeah.
They do a little field trip to MetLife Stadium.
Oh, that's cool.
So to see that, I've done it so many times.
Right.
As soon as I saw the one teacher, I says, Wayne Valley. He's like, yep. And I was in my mind, I'm like, why can't you just give me a heads up and say you're coming?
Yeah, right. Like a little call ahead.
No big deal.
Mendham
High School comes.
They come from far then.
They go to the Ground Zero like every year.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the one teacher, he's a huge fan of Rutt. Every time he calls me up, it's like, I'm coming on this day with 1 bus, I'm coming on this day with 2 buses. So I get a heads up, so we know. But I know Wayne Valley, they never call, because I see the one teacher that I remember for the past, 10 years or so.
Yeah.
So, but to see how efficiently we could get them in and out.
Right.
That's where the beauty for me is like, when it's all fine and all cylinders, there's nobody could do it better than
nothing
us.
like it, for sure. I'm also interested in the fact that, you said your uncles buy this business in 74, and, I've talked with so many people, here, like, that are part of the family.
Correct. There's a lot of us.
And there are a lot of you. And it's funny to me, and I always ask this, because we did, Calandra's Bakery was one of our first ever episodes. We've done a lot of businesses like that, where it's, so family ingrained that I'm always like, at one point where you're just like, when you were a kid, where you're just like, fucking hot dogs, I don't want to do that anymore.
How can I explain it to you? So essentially we all work here.
Right.
For the most part, most of us. In my family, like my immediate family, I think my one sister's, there's 5 of us. 4 of the 5 have worked here.
Yeah.
And pretty much everyone's worked here. But as a kid, being that we lived in Clifton, we went to Clifton High School, some teachers would always throw these comments out there. I was always like, whatever. I was just kind of tuning it out. And then I realized that, it's a difficult business. As a kid, it was very high, a lot of pressure here, man.
Sure.
I mean, a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So my first job here was a busboy. And, my brother and cousins, George, contact, they would work on the counter. And, I wanted to work on the counter, too. I was like, I'm sitting upstairs with the ladies that are here 50 years. They knew more about the restaurant than our fathers did at that time. Because they were here before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They knew every customer. They knew everything.
Yeah.
That was our resource. That was my father's and my uncle's resources. Like, if there was a question, Big Jean, number 14, I'll never forget her. She knew everything.
Yeah.
She was like,
Right, encyclopedia of Rutts.
She was like drill instructor, like, Jesus. So she knew everything. And I'm working up there. I'm a kid. I'm working with these ladies. I'm like, jeez. I'm like motivating, growing. And my father's like, we'll send you down in the basement.
Yeah.
If you want to learn this business, you got to learn from the bottom up. And essentially, my father's words were right, because when I had my own place, those words were always in my head.
Yeah.
I had to know how to do them,
Right.
So I've done it all here, from washing a dish, to bussing tables, to bartending, to making the relish, to chili. I do it all.
Yeah.
And, our fathers wanted us to go to school, get an education instead of the business. My father always said to me, go to school, get an education, wear a shirt and tie, have your holidays off, your weekends off. We did that.
Yeah.
We went to college, we got our degrees. Life brought us back here. Somehow, somewhere, we're back.
Yeah.
My father passed away, and my brother took over my father's share. So we all came back into it,
Right.
essentially. And that's how I'm still here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I love it. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't be here.
Sure. Yeah. At least this shirt has a collar.
Yeah.
It's close enough.
Nah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I say, I should,
Yeah.
whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah. That's also interesting too, because like you talk about the process and like kind of the experience of the speed and like all that kind of stuff, and like you do see the same folks in here, whether they're part of the family or whether they're not. But I think that's obviously like a testament to how the business is run. Because if everyone was an asshole,
when I tell
it would
people
make
that first start here, like if they happen to be working on a counter, I says, don't take it personally when a customer walks in and walks right by you.
Yeah.
They're always going to go to somebody that they're familiar with.
Totally.
It's nothing against you.
Yeah.
I mean, I look out the side door and I know certain customers, I'm ordering their stuff before they even hit the door. You know what I mean? I'm here 20 years primarily on the counter, and I've been doing it a long time, so I know a lot of the customers. I know what they order, But it's you're familiar with each other, you know what I mean? And it's a comfort thing.
Yeah, it's a community. It's a big community.
Yeah, they're comfortable with me, We know each other, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I don't know everybody's name.
Of course.
Like,
but that's the guy, 2 hot dogs and a...
Right. So if we don't see somebody for a long time, my sister or whoever will be like, my sister will be like, oh, I haven't seen so-and-so. I'm like, well, what do they order?
Yeah.
The guy that gets 2 hot dogs, an onion ring, and a birch beer. I'm like... And then it clicks. I'm like, okay, I haven't seen him either. Whatever.
Yeah.
So we don't know everybody's names. They might know our names, especially now with the social media. They say, your name, this and that. But I always say, they're like, oh, you must know my father. I'm like, show me a picture. I'm sure I know him.
Yeah, what was his order?
If they show me a picture, I'm sure, I know them.
Yeah, of course.
The Mayo Performing Arts Center is the heart of arts and entertainment in Morristown, New Jersey. MPAC presents over 200 events annually and is home to an innovative children's arts education program. To see MPAC's upcoming schedule of world-class concerts, stand-up comedy, family shows, and more, head to mayoarts.org or just click the link in our show notes.
Hey folks, I want to tell you about the crew over at Make Cool Shit. These are the magicians who recently gave our podcast a jaw-dropping makeover. You know how we roll here at Greetings to the Garden State podcast, right? We're all about that Garden State attitude. Well, Make Cool Shit shares that same vibe, and they've got something absolutely epic to offer. It's called the Unlimited Cool Shit Design Subscription. It's a game changer, my friends. Imagine this, unlimited creativity, one flat monthly fee, and none of that boring stuff. It's like having your very own army of design superheroes on speed dial. Whether you're a fresh race startup or a seasoned business looking to shake things up, the team at Make Cool Shit has got your back. It's all about making your brand sizzle, no matter where you are in your journey. So if you're ready to turn your ideas into mind-blowing realities, then it's time to connect with Make Cool Shit. You can check them out on Instagram at WeMakeCoolShit or visit their website, WeMakeCoolShit.co. Remember, that's co, not com. And so let's talk about we'll talk about the hot dogs real fast. They're called Rippers, and if someone doesn't know why they're called Rippers, why are they called Rippers?
It's called a Ripper because it's a deep-fried hot dog. It's natural casing. They're fried. They're ripped. So the term Ripper is associated to the hot dog.
Yeah.
So people come in here, oh, I want one hot dog, I want one Ripper. So, I'm like, a Ripper is a hot dog.
Yeah.
Instead of a hot dog, here we say Ripper.
Right.
I don't want you to say Ripper. You don't have to say that.
Sure.
I don't ask anybody,
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of times people see stuff on TV or whatever.
Of course.
And they try to order it like that. And I tell them,
Well, it says home of the Ripper.
Right.
Then you got to yeah.
So, I try to explain to them that it's a deep fried hot dog.
Right.
So the only difference is how it's cooked. From lightly cooked to the extreme,
Yeah.
which we call it cremator.
Cremator. I didn't even know cremator. I knew Weller.
So it's an
Ripper, Weller.
Ripper. Essentially, they're all rippers.
Yeah, right.
Even the lightest one is going to rip slightly.
But just like the average,
Right.
So
the extreme would be a cremator. Khalil, if you have a cremator, you could just hold up for it. It's a cremator's petrified. I hit the counter when somebody orders that,
Yeah.
and I don't know why anybody that's ever seen this on any kind of program.
cremated.
It's petrified. There's no meat
Yeah.
substance left to that.
Yeah.
And everybody always orders this. Like I'm like,
People do order that?
oh yeah.
Really?
Remember, when one person hates, somebody loves.
That's true. Yeah. You can't, yuck someone's yum, as they say. Yeah.
I have customers that I know.
Sure.
They always get it. I don't question it.
Of course.
When somebody comes in here for the first time, I'm like, it's the extreme version. But
Yeah.
for some reason, they still want to try it. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's not a true interpretation of what the hot dog is.
Of course.
It's the extreme. I'm like, you don't
Yeah.
go jump over the bridge in your first try, right?
You jump off the side.
I don't know why everyone,
Yeah.
whatever program we're on, and I try not to say the term cremated because I know it's going to stick in their mind, but
Yeah.
essentially we have to say that because people get it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. That's
At the end of the day, every hot dog is going to be sold,
of course.
from the worst to the,
Yeah.
like when somebody comes here for the first time, I tell them, don't get hung up on this. I want a cremator.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you what you're going to enjoy.
Right.
I'm going to give you what I like.
Yeah, and then you can make some tweaks.
Correct. I'm going to give you one that's cooked a little bit more, one that's cooked a little bit less.
Yeah.
And you can decide what you like better.
Right.
You know.
And I think that's also interesting too, because it's like because this place is such an institution, you do have a lot of people that have been coming here for forever.
Absolutely.
You also have a lot of people that find this on, whether it's through this or whether it's through whatever.
100%.
And they're like, ooh, I got to go try that.
Yep.
Like when we announced Rutt's Hut for Jersey Fest, we're bringing basically Rutt's Hut to Jersey City. Like everyone was like, Jesus, this is so cool. I don't have to drive out to Clifton to do this.
Correct.
And I've wanted to do this forever. But I think like being able to kind of walk someone through that and be like, hey,
Well, that's why whoever's on the counter, it's knowledge.
Yeah,
And
right.
it's not knowledge that you're going to pick up,
Yeah.
a day.
Right.
We've been doing this since we're kids. I'll be 55 years old.
Yeah.
I've been doing it solidly for almost the past 20 years.
Yeah.
And before that, as a kid here. But, and I tell people when they, if we get new waitresses, young girls that come to work, I says, just listen to the customer. The majority of them that are coming here know exactly what they want.
Right.
Just pay attention. They know the system. They know what they're ordering.
Yeah.
And if you have a question, ask somebody here that has,
find somebody. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's, the customer base here knows.
Yeah, what kind of like dictate almost, what happens. But and they're Thuman's hot dogs,
They're made
right?
first by Thumans, yeah.
Yeah, which is cool because that's also a Jersey company.
Absolutely.
Has it always been the case?
Since our family took over, yes.
That's pretty cool.
I think the original, they probably had a different company that probably went out.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, that's cool. And then the other thing with the hot dogs that also is part of the fame of it
homemade relish
is the homemade relish.
That's the gold.
And obviously you can't, divulge, but what makes it better than any other relish people have had before?
Well, most traditional relish is a dill relish, pickle relish.
Yeah.
Ours has no pickle in it. So when somebody says, "Oh, I don't like pickles," I'm like, "There's no pickles in it."
Yeah.
And I've heard it called so many different things. Guy came in today. He's like, "Let me get a quart of that corn relish." I'm like, "What?" Corn relish. I says, "There's no corn in it."
Yeah.
I says, "If you find corn in there, you let me know."
Maybe he was like, fishing a little bit.
A lot of people call it that.
Yeah.
And then they call it baby shit. I've had people call it baby shit. I've had people call it. I can't even think right now.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their own name for this.
Yeah. Right.
Whatever. And essentially, it's like what their fathers told them it was.
Of course.
So the guys that say baby shit, their fathers called it baby shit.
Yeah.
So now they're calling it baby shit.
That's so funny. Yeah. Oh my God. And then let's talk about like the rest of the menu too, because I think that that's like a big piece of it. Because
Absolutely.
like when I come through, I'm just getting hot dogs,
Yeah.
really.
So that's what I tell
But
most people. People that are coming here for the first time are obviously coming to have a rib ring.
Sure.
But we have a full menu. So we have people that come here every day.
Yeah.
Everyday customers.
Right.
They're not coming here for rippers every day.
Yeah.
We have anything from roast duck to steak to fried chicken, seafood. You know, we have a full menu.
Yeah.
We
What
have
do you think?
breakfast.
I'm part of breakfast. That's cool. We'll talk about that in a second. On the stuff that people will, like outside of the, the diehard stuff, like what's your favorite thing on the menu that's not a hot dog?
I like the sliced steak.
Okay.
Open sliced steak.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. To be honest, it's
Yeah.
good. But we have something for everybody.
Right.
It's not like so people call it like, oh, this is the hot dog of beef. I'm like, it's a mix of beef and pork. This is we have chicken, we have seafood, we have everything. It's not just those are the people that think it's just a hot dog spot.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
because I think too,
so
like
when people walk in here and they look at this, this is a new menu here.
Yeah.
This digital menu is new.
right.
For years we had to push, like the little Pepsi
Yeah.
one over there.
Yep.
So now, even the people that have been coming here for years, they're like,
Like what the hell is
is
this?
that roast duck?
Yeah.
I'm like, roast duck's been on, I got a menu from 1951 on the
Yeah,
wall there.
right.
It's on the, if you see the menu, you'd be like, what? Oysters and fried this and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
It's not a new item on the,
Right. It's just a little brighter now.
Right.
Yeah.
Roast duck, and it's, a couple months back they did a big thing on NJ.com, that only the locals know what to order. And, the first thing they popped up was a roast duck from Rutt's Hut.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. I was wondering why. I'm like, everyone's coming here ordering this stuff. Tough. But, a few years earlier, Action Bronson was in here. And,
Yeah. Right. That was gonna say.
He was eating, and when we still had the old menu there, he's like,
Yeah.
after you eat hot dogs and
Sure. So much stuff.
I mean,
yeah, that's crazy.
he looks over and he goes, you got roast duck?
Yeah.
I want the roast duck.
Yeah.
And the way he said it, I said to my sister, I said, that's going to be on the show, just because it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he was floored by the roast duck, man.
Yeah.
And I knew when that aired, people would come in and order exactly what he ordered.
100%.
2 cheeseburgers
Yeah.
dipped, cup of chili, and then, how can we get the roast duck?
Yeah.
I was like, it's from the show.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was cool.
That is cool. And it just, I think stuff like that is.
People equate,
Yeah.
hot dog spot. They're just blown away that you have roast duck.
Right,
And I
because
tell people,
yeah.
it's excellent, man. You
Yeah.
can't, it's phenomenal.
Right.
I yet to meet a customer that said, it sucked.
Yeah. It's on my list of things to try. Just haven't
There's
tried
a lot
it.
to try.
Of course.
So I always call this hidden gems of the establishment.
Yeah, of course.
Like
Yeah.
the homemade rice pudding, homemade bread pudding. We were just on Fox News or whatever, and they were talking about the homemade rice pudding. I can't keep up with the damn rice pudding, man. I'm making rice pudding, I feel like every day now.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. It's interesting too because obviously we're doing this, but we were talking off mic before about like a lot of the stuff that you guys have been doing recently, whether it's new shows or different things, going to Jersey Fest, like doing podcasts, doing like I saw the North Jersey Eats photo shoot, the one day.
Listen.
There's like so many things going on.
I've done every form of media you can do here through the years.
Yeah.
I'm not, it's okay. I don't have an
Sure.
issue with it.
Yeah.
It's second nature to me.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, you should be a salesman. I'm not a salesman, man. The product is that good, it sells itself.
Yeah, you believe it.
And I believe it. I
Yeah.
believe it in 200%.
Right.
So when somebody says to me, oh, can I get a chocolate pudding? I tell them, does it say homemade on that? I don't make the chocolate pudding.
Yeah.
But I make the homemade rice pudding and I make the bread pudding.
Yeah.
When you see homemade, you want to go with that. We make the rice pudding, we make the bread pudding, we make the potato salad, we make the coleslaw, we make the relish, we make the chili. We make everything. The soups are homemade here.
Yeah.
Nothing out of a can here. It's old school. We slice our own meat for the roast beef.
Sure.
We grind our own meat for the chili. It's not nothing out of a can.
Yeah. Yeah.
I worked in franchises where you grab a bag and the soup was in the bag and you put it in the hot
Like all the
water.
instructions on it.
Yeah, there's nothing. You just put it in the hot water,
Yeah.
and when it heats, you open it up and you put it. You don't do that here.
Yeah.
It's all made in house.
Yeah.
And that's, there's not too many places that do that anymore.
Right.
And I think that's a testament to the establishment.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean,
You could, if you I'm sure you could, if you said, oh, we could just do that, but I don't think we would ever do that because our customer base is, they know.
Yeah. And I think that's also interesting.
They're accustomed to that.
Of course. Like, as you're, starting to kind of, like, as the business continues, you have almost like, there's really like we talked about before. I mean, almost 100 years of kind of doing the same, not the same thing, but just kind of like the same system.
Following the same,
Yeah, the same procedure, all that kind of stuff.
Rules, essentially.
Yeah. And is there ever like moments where you and the family are saying to yourselves like, oh, maybe we should try something?
Well, the chili dog. So,
Exactly.
so I was,
Yeah.
I'm a traditionalist.
So you're anti-chili dog.
Not that I'm anti-chili dog, but I'm a traditionalist.
Sure.
Rutt's Hut here is known for, the way we've been doing it. So I always took pride when somebody like, I want it all the way dog. We're gonna do all the way, but I don't want to know what all the way is.
Yeah.
If you like a cup of chili, you got to get a cup on the side. But my cousin George was like, we have to have a chili dog. And essentially, I said, all right, we'll try it.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl. Well, it's not. I know the customer base wants it,
Sure.
but I'm a traditionalist.
No, I get it.
Yeah. I still have customers now, today.
Yeah.
What? You make chili dogs now? Come on. For all these years, I always got a cup. I said, yeah, I got outvoted essentially. But you got to adapt.
Slowly wore it down.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I always felt like our chili's the real deal with chili. It's not a sauce.
Right. You want to enjoy it.
It's a real. You
On its
can
own.
put it on a hot dog. You can have it as a bowl or a cup, whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I take great pride in that. I make this stuff, so I know.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's good on the dog. That's the way I like to eat it.
Yeah.
I like to put chili and relish on the dog. That's the way I like to eat the hot dog. If I'm eating the hot dog, that's the way I'm eating it.
Sure. I'm a mustard relish guy here.
Did you try the chili and relish?
We just did, one I did.
Just chili.
Chili, relish, mustard,
Okay.
all the way.
I don't know what all the way is. So for years, all this, anytime they did any kind of print media, they would write, make sure you get the hot dog all the way. I'm like, you don't freaking do all the way. It's like amazing. Like these news outlets, they just take whatever was printed and they
and just keep running it, change it a little. It's like a telephone game.
It's like, it makes me crazy. I'm like, I don't know what all the way is.
Right.
Even now, like today, I want a hot dog. What would you like on it? I tell them. We have homemade relish, mustard, and ketchup. If you like chili, give me chili on it.
Yeah.
I don't know what all the way is.
Yeah.
I know what it is, but not here. We don't use that lingo.
Sure. Totally. Let's talk about the dining room too, because I think like when you talk about like the Action Bronson episode and like other things that kind of come through, obviously we're doing it in here. I feel like a lot of stuff is shot on this side.
Correct.
And like the bar side to me is almost kind of like a hidden
Absolutely.
dive bar dining room gem thing.
No doubt about it.
Like a cold high life on draft, and 2 dogs is,
It's heaven.
that'd be like my final meal, on earth. Let's talk about like, has that always, like this setup, dining
Always.
room, this has always been like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you've been upstairs. We say upstairs.
Yeah, right. She's been upstairs before.
We
I was
take
like, I
a
don't even know
physical
what
step upstairs,
Yeah.
like from the lower level to the top level.
Yeah.
So, when our fathers took over, that dining room where the spindles are,
Right.
that was all covered.
Okay.
So a lot of people that know, think about it, the 20s, this was probably a speakeasy, I would say, in
Probably.
its time.
Yeah.
I've been up in the attic here, and there's pipes going up and down. I don't know where the hell this. I don't know what,
Yeah.
the flaps come down on the bar, it was closed off, whatever.
Yeah, right.
So there was probably a speakeasy, and it's, they officially established in 28, but I'm sure it was around before.
Yeah, doing something before that, right?
And that's fine.
Yeah.
We have people that come here, like I said, on a daily basis, they come for a meal, whatever the special may be, or they're having whatever, roast beef, whatever they're eating.
Yeah.
The dining room is a big part of the
Yeah,
establishment.
for sure.
Yeah. And during COVID, it was kind of because nobody was allowed to be in the dining room.
Yeah, it took that
And then-
piece away from it.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's 2 factions that come to this place: people that only went on that side, and people that only come on this side.
Yeah.
So I've met so many customers through the years that like I've never even been on that side. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And vice versa. But during COVID, they had no
Everyone
choice. They had to come.
Of course.
Which and that was another issue with the COVID. Like people, it was difficult to get work, help, or and still we're still trying to get past the. We used to be open until 11 o'clock. Right now we're open till 8. Can't find people to work. It's like COVID screwed up a lot of business.
Yeah, right. And I think it's important, like we do these types of things because and we've had instances where, like businesses that have been around for 50 years, it's like making sure that people know about them, and
right.
like
So you're broadening people's horizons,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so anytime we do something and we're on something or whatever it is, I always say that it's a reminder to the people that have been here to come back.
Yep.
And it's an introduction to the people that have never been here.
Right.
To come try it out.
Yeah, or people that have been meaning to come here.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, we should go. It's been on the list.
I've been here long enough, and in the food business, people pay lots of money to get people to walk through the door for the first time.
Yeah.
I've never not been here and not had at least 20 people walk through the door on any given day.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Yeah.
Which is a testament to the establishment.
For sure.
It's, if you look at it, McDonald's, it's not an A location.
Right.
It's a D location.
Yeah.
At best.
It's weird getting here.
Yeah.
Coming off onto River Road over here over the bridge.
It's a destination location. You come here because it's Rutt's Hut and Rutt's Hut only.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to the establishment. It's not just to the establishment. It's a testament to the integrity of the product, because it could be the name Rutt's Hut, but if you come here for the first time and it's not what you thought it was,
right,
you're gonna be like, this place sucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll get that. You're going to get someone that's never going to be happy.
But they're whatever dog.
There's always, everybody's wonderful where they come from, and they appreciate that.
Yep.
So, when these awards come out, number one, this.
Yeah. No one's ever going to be happy with those.
Just to be, associated with at the top in the country is more than enough. It's gravy for me.
Yeah.
Getting number one, that's icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But I take all that with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? There's always going to be somebody that's going to, hate the place, and somebody that's going to love the place. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You got to accept that and understand that. You can't get hung up on it. Social media, people could destroy you.
Yeah.
I try not to read into that.
Right.
I know what we stand for.
Of course. And I think also, too, when we were going back almost.
What's up, how you doing?
How you doing? Also talking about, the community aspect of it, that's a great kind of segue part of that. Is almost like we go to Ghost Talk all the time, places around Silk City or wherever else. And I think that's a really interesting part of it too, because it's other businesses that all kind of feed off each other too, It's
we piggyback.
Exactly.
We piggyback. I was to say, we're all in the same area, general area. They're all Clifton guys, we're Clifton guys.
Yeah.
My brother went to school with those guys. But it's unique.
Yeah.
You said, Clifton's got a lot.
Clifton's also huge.
It is
surprisingly really big.
What town are you from?
So I grew up in Morris County and Sussex County, and we just recently moved to Bloomfield.
Okay, right here.
Yeah, so now it's great. I was in Morristown for a while, so every time visiting my girlfriend who lived in Montclair at the time, we'd be closer then.
So essentially, Clifton is bordered by Passaic, Patterson, Nutley, Enfield, West Patterson.
Yeah.
I mean, Rutherford's across the way.
Yeah.
And here, people are like, what town is this? I'm like, it's Clifton. And it's Clifton. It's not Nutley?
Yeah.
Because Nutley's 2 seconds that way, Passaic's 2 seconds that way.
Right. Yeah. So before we kind of get close to the end, because we've already been going for 30 minutes, this is perfect. Where, we talked a little bit about kind of the business being the way that it has been for the last 96 years. Do you guys see kind of is there anything else on the horizon? Or are you going to keep chugging along things maybe?
There's always something on the horizon.
Yeah.
It's just
not sure what it is.
we get there.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always something on the horizon.
For sure.
We would love to, take a next step.
Yeah.
Be able to ship out product. People call all the time, oh, you guys ship the Relish to California, or you ship,
Yeah.
That's, I think, at some point in time, that would be a big thing here.
Yeah.
It's because people, they see these shows and they're like, oh, you guys ship the dogs.
Yeah.
Cat's Deli ships all over the country.
Sure.
We're not set up for that just yet.
Yeah.
At some point in time.
I feel like it would be hard to ship a deep fried hot dog. Yeah. But I guess maybe
the relish, the chili.
The relish chili, of course. Yeah.
So, I have people every day calls up.
Yeah.
You guys ship the relish? No. And if somebody's coming through, they could pick it up for you.
Right, mail it.
We'll be more than happy to send it.
Right, yeah.
For me to go physically send it, we're not set up for that.
Totally.
It's got to be it's got to be done the right way. We
Yeah.
can't do it half.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think it goes back to like what we were talking about before. Is like you know what you stand for, you know what the product is, you believe in it, and you don't want
And one day
if
you
someone
might-
lives in California that used to come here all the time, and they like want that.
One day
That
you'll see it in the
taste.
supermarket.
Yeah.
That's.
That'd be cool.
I think that's going to happen at some point
Yeah.
down the road. You know, we've always talked about it.
Sure.
It's just a matter of putting it into motion.
Yeah.
Everything's got to be in proper play there, and at some point, I think that we'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So people listen to this episode, if they're Rutt's diehards, I think they enjoyed it and they should come back for another one. If they've never been here and someone that's coming in for the first time, what would be your advice to them?
Have a hot dog.
Have a hot
Have a
dog.
deep fried ripper.
Yeah.
We got the homemade relish and mustard there. Try some chili on it. Homemade onion rings.
Yep.
Large birch beer. You're good to go.
Amazing.
Top it off with some homemade rice pudding, and you'll be satisfied.
Yeah, roll you right out of here.
That's it.
And cash only.
Cash on.
Right. Yeah, that's also
Since 1928.
love it.
ATM on the premise if they need.
Yep. Perfect.
That's a modern invention here as well.
I have used the ATM here quite a bit, for sure. Okay, we're gonna make sure we put all the links and everything like that in the show notes. People can go click. Like I know Instagram really pushing the social media stuff now. That's at the Rutt's Hut. I know that.
The Rutt's Hut.
And
That's another story in itself. But
oh yeah,
the Rutt's Hut, because my cousin John, whose father was one of the owners here,
yeah,
he was very ahead of his time with his social media.
Sure.
So he established Rutt's Hut, on
Yeah, no,
Facebook and
yep.
Rutt's Hut on Instagram. He passed away. We don't have, nobody knows the
like how to
password.
get in there.
Right.
I feel like there's got to be like some sort
It's
of
not, man. George worked for police, the whole 9 yards, and tried everything.
yeah,
I've tried to call Facebook. You know what it's like?
Yeah.
You got a better chance of talking to the president.
exactly. It's
There's
horrible.
nobody. It's like,
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, but run around.
I would have loved to have it as, Rutt's Hut as it was, but
Sure. But the Rutt's Hut.
Right.
Not just the Rutt's Hut. The Rutt's
it's
Hut.
the Rutt's Hut, like
Yeah.
the Ohio State University.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, Billy, I appreciate you
My pleasure.
joining us on the show. We'll make sure, again, like I said, we'll put all the links in the show notes. People can go check it out. Come down, have a hot dog. This has been the Greatest with the Garza podcast, powered by the New Jersey Lottery. I'm Mike Ham. He was Billy Christofina. Nailed it. Christofinas. Damn it. My bad. It's those
that's-
Greek last names. Like, there's
That's
like
it.
so many, it's just
It's never
stuff.
ending. It's like,
Just keeps going.
so when the people call here and they ask me for my name, I'm like,
Billy.
Well, my real name is Lucilius, but then
Sure.
they like spell your last name. I'm like CHRISAFINIS, and I just keep adding stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm just joking.
Awesome. So, Mike Ham, Billy Christofinas, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Come down for some rippers.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks, Billy. Appreciate it.
Do you wanna